What is up, guys? It is Jasmine and I am back with another video. As you can tell, I look like crap. I feel like crap. I am obviously I'm sick and I have been up all night long it's Tuesday, so I've pretty much been up almost all night and all day with my twins who are sick. I ended up taking one of them to the emergency room because he wasn't breathing well Thursday night, like into Friday morning, and they sent him home with a nebulizer. And so, you know, I've been doing breathing treatments on him and everything, and now I'm sick. My other son is sick. And so it's been a little bit of a crazy ride around here so far. So I hope you guys forgive me. I'm gonna go ahead and film 3 videos right now. Obviously I'm not gonna be posting them back to back or anything, but they're all gonna be like pretty basic. One of my kids is crying. Jesus. They're all gonna be pretty basic videos that I have in like my head versus having to do research, only because it's easier for me to just tell you a story versus having to constantly look for the information on my tablet or on paper or whatever, and then it's also easier to edit. So I hope you forgive me, cut me some slack for this week. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So today I thought that I would talk about that one time that I kind of sort of dated a sociopath. This guy screwed with my mind bad. And looking back at the situation now that I've done research on like what a sociopath is and a lot of like different illnesses like narcissism and all of that, like I'm very intrigued by that kind of stuff. I have found out that I think he was indeed a sociopath. So pretty much as soon as I met him, I did like him. I just got a weird vibe from him. I did not like him, and I was just kind of, you know, you just get that feeling in your stomach and you're like, you're not a good person. That's kind of how I felt. He just kept coming around to my friend's house all the time and I was just kind of over it. And then he kept talking to me and I realized like we had some stuff in common, and then somewhere in between, I don't like him, I was like, oh my god, I'm head over heels in love with this guy. And I ended up really falling for him. And everybody around me was like, I think he likes you because like he knows every time you come over, he comes over. And every single time that he's over, he asks about you and stuff. So we think he's into you. And I was like, wow. And I think maybe that part is also what made me kind of fall for him, because I was like, wow, he kind of likes me. So I went ahead and started kind of liking him, and I finally got a cell phone because I didn't have one, and me and him were texting back and forth, and he was like, you know, like I really like you and I think we should hang out more. And I'm like, okay, that's so cool. And then like he goes and invites me over, and I come over and he starts telling me, you would be perfect if you weren't so fat, and you would be so perfect if you just lost a little bit of weight and like you had a bigger butt and you had a bigger chest. Like, I'm just not attracted to you that way, and I don't know why you came over. Rather than thinking to myself, bitch, you invited me over, I thought to myself, oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. I totally got the wrong impression of what he was wanting to happen. Don't get me wrong, I didn't like jump on him. I didn't try and pursue anything. I went over there and I was like so insecure with myself anyways that like I waited for him to make the moves on me, right? And so I was not trying to do anything like that. And you know, he would like belittle me, and he was kind of embarrassed that you thought that, and I'm so sorry to hurt your feelings and this and that and everything. And so I'd be like, yeah, no, it's cool, like don't trip. And I still liked him, right? So I would like go over to my friend's house, or I would go home, and he would start texting me and he'd be like, I had a lot of fun hanging out with you, and you know, like I kind of wish things happened, like, but you seemed to kind of be a little into your shell, and I feel like you should come out a little bit more, because like I was really trying to make a move on you, and I just felt like you weren't going to reciprocate that, and so I was nervous. And I'd be like, oh no, you know, I like you, like, and I would tell him like, I have feelings for you, I'm really kind of into you. And he would be like, yeah, we totally have to get together and like hang out again. And so we would go, we would hang out, and then like he brought this girl, and he was like talking about how he was in love with her and this and that and everything. And I was just kind of like, oh, okay, like I must have misunderstood him again, I'm so sorry. Like, and then text me about her for like a couple hours. Like every day he would text me and be like, what do you think of her? And like, oh, she did this. And it's breaking my heart, but I'm writing back, giving him honest opinion. I'm like, actually, yeah, I think she likes you. Like, I think you should go for it. And all of this kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden he starts texting me and he's like, I really miss you. And I feel like me and her just weren't compatible, but like, you're really chill. You're down to earth, and like me and you have a lot of the same beliefs and this and that. He's also like, I think that like me and you should really try and pursue something. So then I would go and I would hang out with him, and then he would be like, God, you're just perfect. He's like, I just can't get over how you look. He was like, I just cannot get over how you look. You're just not attractive. And then like at one point he got really, really drunk, and he got me drunk. Okay. Sorry if the angle is different or I'm at a different spot. I had to change out my battery and I got all discombobulated. So anyways, he would get drunk, and then like he would get me drunk, right? And he'd be like, come on, take a shot with me, get drunk with me, get drunk with me. And I'd be like, okay, you know, because I liked him. And so like he'd get me freaking messed up. And then like he'd start trying to kind of mess around with me. And then like he would do the same thing. He would go and he would mess around with me, and he would be like I can't do this. Your body is disgusting. Like, you disgust me. And I don't know. I just can't do it. I'm sorry, you gotta go. And so like I would leave, and he would make me walk home drunk. And I was very, very, very drunk because my friend lived across the way. The only issue is like she just had another baby. She had a 2-year-old at the time. Her and her husband were having problems, and I just felt really guilty for going over to her house because I was there a lot anyways. And so like I was like, well, I can't go over to her house because it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. She's asleep. She has to wake up with the kids. And he would just be like, well, you can't stay here. And so he would make me walk home drunk. And it was like a 45-minute walk home. And I would do that, like on Florida Avenue, like where all the prostitutes are. I would walk home, and there was like plenty of times that people probably thought that I was a hooker because I was constantly going up and down Florida, because that's how I would get, because I lived over near like Acacia Middle School, and they lived over in the apartments. I think they're called Crestwood. They're like right next to the green trees. That's where I would walk to. So I would be walking back and forth from there all the time. But I had took Florida Avenue because I figured it was safer to take Florida versus like some of the side streets. So I'm sure people probably thought I was a hooker. But anyways, that's not the point. So he would make me walk home like at 2 o'clock in the morning drunk, because he was like, oh, I just can't do this. I can't do this. And then he would literally like call me on my way home and be like, well, I just wanted to make sure that you got home safe. And like, I felt guilty. So I'm really sorry. And he would like make me stay on the phone with him until like I got home. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm home. I gotta go. And he'd be like, no, talk to me. I miss you. I miss your voice. And like, he was messing with my brain so much. I was literally like a broken person, if that makes sense, because it's kind of like when I'm not with him, he's telling me he loves me, and he's telling me he thinks he's in love with me, and he's telling me that, you know, I'm everything he's ever wanted in a woman, and how he wants us to eventually get our own place as roommates. He never said us getting our own place as a couple, but as roommates. And then like he would just go back and forth and back and forth. So eventually he ended up losing the apartment, which now I look back, and that's the reason that he wanted us to get in a place together, is because he was going to lose the apartment. And so he went ahead and moved to Iowa, I want to say. I think it was Iowa. Is that where there's a lot of corn? I think it was Iowa. And I was heartbroken. I was literally heartbroken. Like, we drove him to the train station, and I cried from the train station all the way home. And I was just like, my heart is broken. Like, I really thought he was the one, and I was just all messed up. And like, he would start calling me all the time, and he was like, oh yeah, I see some cheerleaders and they're so hot. And I would be like, yeah, I hope you like go over there and you talk to him and stuff. And I'd hang up the phone and I'd just be crying. I'd be like, he moved to another state and I love him, and I just want us to be together, and this and that. And then he would call me later and he would be like, I need you to talk to me, I'm so lonely, and all of this kind of stuff. And at this point he was trying to pin me and my friend, the one that I didn't want to go over to her house because her and her husband were having issues, he was trying to pin me and her against each other. And he would call me and be like, I'm in love with her. She's perfect. She has the perfect body. And I'm so jealous of everything that her husband has. Like, she's what I want. And if they ever get a divorce, I'm going to snatch her up real quick because she's the love of my life and everything. And he's telling me this. And then the next day he's calling me again and he's like, and I love you so much. And I was just all kinds of messed up. So, you know, he's living his life over there and I'm living my life in Hibbett. And slowly we started just kind of drifting apart, and he was getting angry because the drifting was on my part. The longer I was away from him, the more that I was like, I don't want to deal with your bullshit, dude. Like, I got stuff I gotta do. I don't want to be up at 2 o'clock in the morning talking to you out of suicide or whatever your issue is now. You know, like I couldn't do it anymore. Like I was broken. And around that same time, I ended up meeting my husband. Well, my husband now, obviously. And me and my husband, I would say we moved pretty quick. We were dating, and then we ended up moving in together. I want to say within like 4 or 5 months, we ended up moving in together and stuff. And so I remember, at this point I was still living at my dad's house, but I was like really, really into my husband at that point. And like, I got a random phone call from this guy and I was like, oh God, it's him. And I told my now husband, I was like, look, there's this guy and he's the one I was telling you about who was like playing mind games with me and all that kind of stuff. I was like, and before he left, I was like, he gave me this ring, and then I gave him a bag of rocks that were my mom's. I was like, and he's wanting to meet up so that he can give me my mom's rocks back and I can give him the ring. And I was like, you can totally come. Like, nothing's gonna happen. I would actually prefer for you to come. That way you could see that nothing happens. I was like, I don't want anything to do with this guy. I'm really, like, falling for you. But I just don't want any weird insecurities happening. And so he gave me a ride over there. And as soon as I saw him, it was the weirdest thing. I got that weird sick feeling in my stomach, like the very first time that I had met him. And I was like, oh, okay, you know, and I just wanted to kind of hurry up and skedaddle. And he was like, oh, do you guys want to come in? And he was like eyeing my husband up and down and was like, you know, I think you guys should come in and hang out. And I just moved in. Do you like my apartment and everything? I was like, yeah, I do. You know, it's really cool, but I gotta go. Like, I promised him we were gonna go do something. I was like, here's the ring back. Here are the rocks. He gave me my mom's rocks back and everything was cool. So then, like, I go on and I live my life for the most part, and he still texts me. And he's like, I really, I don't like your husband, your boyfriend, because boyfriend at the time. I don't like your boyfriend. I think your boyfriend is a bad person and I think you need to leave him, and I have enough room in here. You could stay with me, and then like you could worry about getting a job and getting on your feet, but you could live with me. Don't even worry about it. You need to leave him. And I was like, no, I'm not leaving this guy. Like, I liked my husband, you know, he didn't treat me like that. And I just started blowing him off. I was like, whatever, dude, like I can't with it. No. So, you know, meeting my husband was literally the best thing that could have ever happened to me. So anyways, time goes by. At this point, I'm married. I have kids. This was like, I want to say a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. And I get a phone call from my friend. And she's like, did you hear? I was like, what? She's like, did you hear about him? And I was like, no, what? And she's like, dude, he moved back to Iowa. And I was like, okay. She says, he just got arrested for raping a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old sister. He was living with them at the time, and he was actually having full-on sex with them. Now, let me tell you this. It's not an excuse, because he is probably in his late 30s, early 40s. I want to say late 30s. I don't think he held them down and raped them. I think he played the exact same mind games with them that he played with me. And I think he was playing mind games with the 13-year-old, and he was playing mind games with the 16-year-old, and I think that they eventually got mad and they told their parents. That's what I think happened. I think that anything sexual happened, it was a consensual thing because he played mind games. Did he still rape them? Yes. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying I don't think, when somebody says rape, I don't think he was holding them down and forcing them, if that makes sense. I feel like they were willing participants, but because they're not mentally old enough to understand the capacity of what happened, it is considered rape. I'm not going to argue that, and I hope that people understand where I'm coming from. And he is in prison right now. Then we started kind of talking amongst ourselves, like my little friend group from Pivot. And everybody realized, looking back, that every one of his girlfriends all were very, very young. Like, they had just turned 18, or they looked extremely young. And I realized that's why he wasn't attracted to me. It had nothing to do with me. It had to do with the fact that I did not look like a little girl. I looked like a woman. Yeah, I'm fat. Like, let's be honest, I'm fat. So he also doesn't like fat chicks. But I think that was a huge one for him, is the fact that, like, he couldn't control me. Like, he could control all of these younger girls. And I didn't have the look of being super young. Therefore, he couldn't be attracted to me because he's a fucking pedophile. So anyways, not only is he a pedophile, but I think that he is definitely a sociopath. And I feel like this video was very, very long to begin with, because I mean, I changed my battery and I'm already at like 9 minutes and 47 seconds. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave out all of the other details, but the point is, I almost dated a sociopath who turned out to be a rapist of children, and that just sickens me. And I'm so lucky that I have such an amazing man in my life who I can trust with anything. And I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to have anything in the back of my head, you know? I'm very, very lucky and I'm very blessed. So thank you so much for sitting through this video. Go ahead and give this video a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!